The carbon tax is a big new tax on everything. The Labour government's carbon tax is grossly unfair and destructive. It will have disastrous consequences for the Australian families. It will have no measurable effect on carbon dioxide emissions. To suggest anything other than this, the Labour government is deceiving the nation. Most citizens know this, and the 2012 Queensland election is proof of this disbelief and distrust of the Labour Party. This is further reinforced by the continuing poor standing of the Labour Party in the regular opinion polls. The only time for Australia to have a carbon tax is when it is a worldwide, United Nations mandated and globally enforced carbon dioxide tax. Then we can all drown together. Australia produces 1.5% of human source carbon dioxide. 50% of this is from motor vehicles. The horrible unfairness of this tax is that motor vehicles are excluded, and that 500 unfortunate companies and organisations are going to carry the burden for the whole nation, and indirectly the whole world. Remember, a company or organisation is not some nebulous entity. It consists of real life, bone and marrow, owners, shareholders and staff. Why not 300 or 700? It's arbitrary and grossly unfair. The whole nation should be taxed, or nobody should be taxed. The Labour government is too gutless to do this, and they know they will never gain power with such a laughable proposition. At the stroke of a Labour pen, these people go from being business heroes of yesteryear to being today's business criminals. No longer does the Labour government talk about how much emissions will be reduced. It's all hype about the initial bribes and rebates that low-income families will receive. The infamous household assistance package does not even mention the carbon dioxide tax. The misuse of carbon dioxide tax income has already begun by giving BlueScope Steel and Toyota hundreds of millions of dollars. Their problems are long-standing and unrelated to the carbon tax. No, the sky did not fall in on the 1st of July, the commencement date. Did anybody expect it to? But on the 1st of July, the nucleus of this insidious cancer cell was placed into our economic bloodstream to inevitably debilitate our economic health. The carbon policies of the Labour government will severely handicap regional industry and primary producers. An enormous part of our government revenue stream is the income derived from the coal and gas industries. They export our cheap fossil fuels to be burnt into our atmosphere and create the very pollution the government professes to eliminate. Australians are being forced into creating energy from ludicrously expensive and unreliable alternate sources. If the Labour government was serious about reducing carbon dioxide emissions, then they should ban the exports of coal and gas. Or they should tax all coal and gas exports on the basis of the $23 per tonne of carbon equivalent. They can then destroy overseas families and industries too, not just our own. Australia will never meet its self-imposed global emissions targets. The government acknowledges this. We will be forced to purchase billions of dollars worth of credits from the rotting overseas suppliers and international gangsters that will control all the ETS trades. They are already setting up shop in Australia. These payments will leave Australia without 1 cent of benefit to the Australians who provided the money. You and I, the taxpayers. The Labour government's actions in stealing from Peter to pay Paul are criminal. Under the carbon tax, Australia will lose control of its economic destiny. Cheap energy is the basis for modern economies. The more you use, the more productive you are. This tax is a tax on productive families and businesses. In other words, it's a productivity tax. How stupid can a government be? The carbon tax is a big new tax on everything.